Thanks, Dan. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Anyway, I was just describing welcome to the Academy meeting. Thanks, Dan. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Anyway, I was just describing welcome to the Academy meeting, and we're going through the well, what the Bookmap Academy is all about, and we have this competition going on right now. So if you want to join the competition, you'll need to join the Academy as well. But here it is. It's the Crypto March Madness competition. Register here, read through it. It's already in process right now. It goes until the end of the month. So it's not just like a couple days or anything like that. It is longer term. So we haven't done a longer term competition, and we can give feedback on this competition. So you can see the prizes here. There's 3, 1 year, 6 months, and 3 months Global Plus. The 1 year guy who gets overall first place gets also $500 USDT. But there's bonus prizes here for the Academy guys as well. So if your content is selected as really good content, you will get $200 USDT. This will happen twice during the competition, so once a week. And we're going to go through this competition content during these Academy meetings. So it is in your interest to trade, try to win the competition, but get feedback on your content. And the better the content, the more likely you will win some of these prizes here. This is what the Academy is all about. So go for it, guys, and enjoy. Let's go through a couple disclosures, and then I'll give you the link here also for this competition. You should register and sign up. And here it is. Okay, looks like Dan already put it in. Thank you, Dan. And Discord as well. So general disclosure, all Bookmap Limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure, trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Here's the competition. If you want to register via your phone, you can. Just take a screenshot of the QR code. You're good to go. All right, so anyway, enjoy the college men's basketball March Madness tournament, and then join in on the Crypto Madness competition here. Right. So anyway, that's that. Now there are some things I need to show here on how to sign up for it. Okay. So let's open up Bookmap. Okay, and this is what you'll need to sign up. Well, I'll have a video for you as well, but I want to go through this quickly for you guys because you might want to join right now and you might run into some issues. Now, in the run options window that pops up here, you need to go into the live trading mode. Okay, you can open up your workspace, record your live. It is highly recommended, as you can see from the Carmine webinar yesterday, to record your data and your orders so you can replay it in replay mode and learn from them. All right, now this competition is 100% free. You just need to have Bookmap. Now let's open it up in live mode or real mode here. All right, and a window pops up. Okay, and my trades pop up, and yeah, so my instrument. Now this is the instrument here. I'm actually going to close it and we're going to reopen it, and also the how to connect. So through connections, we're going to actually disconnect here, and I'm going to go through the whole process. So first thing you need to do is you'll need to connect to Bookmap data. Okay, so go up to connections, configure. Let's actually deselect that. And let me go to actually, well, I'll go through the whole, not the whole process. We'll kind of shortcut it a little bit. All right, so connections, configure. And then if you do not see Bookmap data or Trade Simulator in here, you need to have these two. Here's how you add them. Add and remove platforms. Click on this. Okay, this will take you into the Bookmap plugins manager here for Bookmap Connect layer 0. And then you'll scroll down to the bottom here if you don't see those, and then you'll see available in here Bookmap data, which you'll need to connect to, and also the trading simulator. Now you can see I've already connected to them. You will need this one, version trade simulator version 1.4.1, and then the Bookmap data one is up above here that you'll see for crypto. Okay, so once you have added those, click OK, and then we can close this. Then we need to come back up here and we need to select them. First, select Bookmap data. Second, select the trading simulator. You'll connect to, I'll show you how this works here. Now, let's open up a symbol. We'll click on the plus tab here, and this is what you need to add. From your platform, Bookmap data, type, competition, exchange, multi-book, and then the symbol is only one symbol for this competition. It is BTC-USDT. It's Binance Futures. And then you can add your historical data here. This is important as well. Tick size. This is now like a $66,000 instrument. So you might want to choose a tick size in here of, boy, I don't know. I had 5 not too long ago, and it started to kind of overload my machine a little bit. So I've been using 10. It works pretty well. If it overloads your machine, go with 20. Try 20. Okay, or even 50. All right. So anyway, select that. Click subscribe. Okay, and it shows my trades. Oh, this is the trade simulator. Yeah. All right. So let's now. It adds my symbol. Let's click on it, and then let's go over to connections, and you can see I'm connected, so that's good. Now let's open up the trade control panel. Okay, and then in here, this is how it works with the trading simulator. You will be trading in the cross instruments trading. So click on this here. If you don't see this panel in here, you'll right click in here, and then you'll see it says show panels, and then add the cross instruments. I already have it up. It's here. I select Bookmap Academy here, BTC USDT, and then I click start. Okay, and it's activated cross trading. All right, now I just need to turn it on here. I can trade from the chart, the dome, or both, and then I'm also going to check the pin here so it always remains open. Then you select your size. Now you're going to have a lot of leverage in here, right? So I think you can trade. It's $100,000 account, but you can trade. I'm not sure exactly. Around maybe 14 different. Oh, this is just killing me. You can trade up to like 14 different coins altogether. Start off with 1 or half or something like that. Now there will be there will be commissions as well. So this is a much more realistic competition than before. All right. So anyway, then you can start trading. All right. So here we can place a trade in here, and then we'll just exit here and flatten, and let's see if we can get something a little more out of it here. There we go. All right, we'll hit flatten, and I'm out. So I got in here, I got out there. Now, I'm probably at a loss here because there's commissions involved, right? So be aware of that. I should have just stuck with it. This is just such a strong move here. Nonetheless, that's how you connect. Now you can go to the crypto page or the competition page here, and then you will see yourself in here in the leaderboard. All right. So just let's click. And we have a few guys in here already, right? So anyway, that's how you do it. That's how you get set up in here, and you're up and running. Okay, this is a great thing because you can trade over the weekends. It's 24/7 until the end of the month, right? All right. So that said, I hope you guys join because we're going to go through a lot of the trading material in here and review your trades, why you got in, why you got out, what your decisions were, to give you feedback on this. We wanted to go over live trading so that or actual positions, so you can get much better feedback. All right, so we have two coaches up today. We have Stan and we have David. And I think we started maybe with Stan last time, so maybe David, will go with you first. And let's see, you've got three or four different. You got three different traders here, so let's take a look. All right, so we'll go with Danilo first.
Fantastic. Well, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, traders. Great to be joining you. I know I've not been around for a couple of weeks. Is Danilo with us at the moment, please?
Yeah, Danilo, I think you can request to speak, or like, let's take a look in here. See you.
Perfect.
Yeah. And slow down.
Sure.
Welcome back. I don't see him.
Okay, no problem. I will crack on. So great. Well, thank you very much to everyone for their contributions this week. I appreciate you taking time to enter, to join the academy for competitions and so forth, and bluntly, politely, to put yourselves up for scrutiny by people like Bruce, me, Stan, and everyone else. So well done, everyone, on that. The trade post here, really good to see. Went out on Twitter, which is a platform I have used a little bit in the past, as some of you know. What I did like is we've got some context here. We've got a different charting system that's showing different time frames and so forth. The trade is an NQ trade, but we're looking for confluence across other instruments and assets, which is good. Appreciate he's not going to be able to answer the question here, but what I do, and I know a lot of us do, not only are we looking at perhaps ES when we're trading NQ and vice versa, also looking at some of the stocks, particularly on NQ, the key tech stocks that make that up. Now, whether that's Nvidia, whether that's Tesla, whether that's Google or whatever, if you've got the feed, not to get yourself too blinded up with looking at multiple charts. And as you would tell me, Bruce, that's where sort of the market pulse can come in, because very quickly in a small part of your screen estate, you can see multiple instruments just by flicking your eyes to one part of the screen and see what is going on, whether there's bid on, whether there's ask on, whether there's pressure, all of those sort of things. So those are things that I like to see, but again, not necessarily needed on the trade. Also on these charts, I can see we've got the footprint coming in, Bruce, volumetric. I do use that at the moment, not on Bookmap. Got to put my hands up. I do run that on Ninja. Have got the add-on, but I've got to sort of find some room and time to get that on board. I do find that very useful, again, as a way of just sense checking, and we can see that on the move down, where you've got some pretty hefty deltas hitting through and so forth. So good to see that highlighted. Good to see that discussed. A little bit further down on my comments, and it's the same, I'll say, for all of us. It applies to me. I think it applies to probably a lot of us in the room. Most of the trades that we're all taking, we're setting ourselves up for that reversal. We're looking for a reversal, whether it's off a technical level, a VWAP, a VPOC, higher the day, lower the day, prior datas, things like that, round numbers, etc. So
Sorry, David, if you could coach me on where to go and what image to show. I'm
my
not
bad.
sure.
Yeah, no, you're fine where you are at the moment, Bruce. Thanks.
Okay.
That was okay. It was the general point about the type of trades that we take. So we're all in that sort of role of typically playing a reversal trade, but as we develop as traders and as we develop as commentary on here, is perhaps explaining why we haven't taken the first leg. So you've got a trade going down and we're getting ourselves ready for the reversal. But as we can see on this chart, there's quite a move. There was quite a move down, and maybe you weren't actually on screen at the time. You weren't awake at the time. But there's a very decent move going down. We've got some, we've got failure coming on the way down. We can see we've got those. We talk about higher lows and lower highs. It's a nice simple pattern of that moving down. So I'd be interested to know why perhaps we didn't take the trade down. Great, we took the trade back up, but what were we looking for? So comments like that, that's like another general comment I like to see on trades, and it's again across the three I look at today, is that contextualizing, Bruce, understanding, what was going on at that moment. Is this time zone? Is this an hour or so before the open, etc., etc. So when readers look at these charts, whether it's the end of the day, a week later, they can get a real good feel as to why. A good example, I've written the notes for one of the other traders, is like yesterday. If you were doing charts from yesterday, the whole theme is pre rates on FMOC and post rates on FMOC. So if we're reading that chart in a week's time, it's nice to remind traders as to what the context of the moves was, as well as then of course the chart, so to speak. It'd also be good to add in some trade management notes here. I know, Bruce, you often like to talk about that in terms of, yes, we can see on I think it's either the chart below or above. So the trade was the reversal back up. So it's the bottom chart that was taken. So there's a couple of notes in there, which is great in terms of the pullback. And we're also using TTW as an add-on along with Bookmap. So that's an add-on I've used as well, Bruce, as you know. So nice to see different tools being used. It'd be nice to know a little bit about the trade management. Did you scale in? Was it just simple? You put on a 1 lot, you put on a 2 lot, you let it run. What were you doing? What were you thinking in terms of your stop management? So if you can add that into the notes as well, that can also be very helpful for people who are learning about trading and understanding your style and technique of trading. Nice to see an NQ trade as well, Bruce. Usual line from all of us, really. It's NQ is not for the faint-hearted. I can't remember what Tom says to me at times about trading NQ, but it's not often polite, as you may know. The other thing on this chart, and it might be just more my sort of lens, the bubbles are quite busy for me, Bruce. So I'm not sure if there's any filtering going on there. I'm not suggesting you as a trader you need to necessarily filter, but it could be worth just on your own side, just sort of having a little play of just putting in maybe bubbles, the volumes above 5 or something. For me, I find that can just help a little bit clarity on the moves. Appreciate the size of the bubbles directs that, but just filtering out a little bit I find quite useful. Bruce, do you want to chip in, please?
Sure. So yeah, thanks, David. There's something on here that's really nice, and there's not many comments in here, and I totally agree with you, David, that more comments would be great, because we don't really know, and we're kind of just shooting in the dark here. So but maybe I'll start with this image. I love it that you got all of your different correlations that you're looking at in here, or different time frames on NQ, and then also on the ES, and then you're looking at Bookmap. Now,
Yeah.
what I like about this, exactly what you're talking about, look at this move down. It is pretty pure. And
Yes.
look at the delta in here. We talked about this
Yeah.
in the All Markets webinar, where there's maybe a little pocket here or here on buying, maybe a little here. That's even dark.
Yeah.
It's not telling you, that anything about this is ready. There's no transition here. This is selling off. And then here, look at the transition, right? So not only the color and the size of the dots. Now, if we just strung these all horizontally, you would see it, and that's kind of what the delta does here. And I know it's an overlay of another footprint chart, but it's the same idea in the Bookmap footprint as well. That you see this transition taking place. That's really important for reversals. That's my big comment on this, and it's really, I mean, this one's like night and day from that move
It is.
down to the move back up.
Yeah. The other thing to chip in is that, and I often say this as well, and if Jack was here, he would support my comments on that. Even though when we look at these charts, there's not a lot going on politely, respectfully on icebergs, whether it's bid or ask, that can also be worth stating, that there's not a lot. I often say that so-and-so sanguine. I might say that, hero's sanguine, or I might say the icebergs are sanguine on this move. But as you've rightly called out, Bruce, it's a very decent classic textbook sell down, 180 dog walk back,
Yeah,
and getting that mindset to trade it both ways, which I know can take a while to get used to doing. But once you can, play tennis on it, you're in for filling up your account.
yeah. I would imagine. I don't know. I don't have the high time frame reference in here, but like it must have sold off into and maybe through a higher time frame
Hmm.
level or something, because it is dramatic from hot to warm, or cold to hot, or whatever it is, from red dots to green dots, and there's no kind of distribution pattern or accumulation pattern in here. Just it sells off and it goes right back up.
Yeah,
But a nice move though, for sure.
very much, very much. Stan, have you got some thoughts, sir, please?
Hey, I would so yeah, potentially using Trader Map Pro for filtering liquidity,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, overall, no, great coaching.
Too kind.
Can we move on to Vincent?
Yes, please. Why not?
All right.
That's easy. It's just one chart, Bruce.
Okay. Well, we got one more after that.
I'll have to number them next time, so at least I can go.
Yeah,
Can you get the chart?
yeah.
That sort of thing. So yeah, another great NQ trade. Uh, a line I've sort of typed in there again on NQ for us all out there. NQ can move around like a scalded wet cat, and that's even when it's going slow, as we know. We got lovely clear boxes on the chart, clear in terms of the setup, in terms of what we're doing, and so forth. I'm just going to again quickly repeat my line. It's nice if we can get a couple of comments about contextualizing the time of day, whether it's Eastern time, Western time, London time, etc., etc. What was really going on the day? Was it a quiet day? Was it FMOC? Was it NFP or whatever it's going to be? That can be really important, particularly more so when you're posting onto social media versus into Discord. Social media, I think, more likely the posts are getting read days later. I'm happy to be proved wrong on that. So please do some contextualizing. Nice to see also on Instagram, because Bruce, do we get many posts going out onto Instagram? You'll probably say, yes, we do, David. Pay attention.
No, we get some, and but yeah, not a whole lot. But
Yeah.
yeah, please, if you do have an account, use it.
Definitely. Now this is another sort of 180 around. Although here, I don't know if Vincent's looking down at the guess if he's kindly with us. What's nice, he's taken the trade down. He's seen it come up. It's come up to Scotty's zones. We can see that is that failure of that lower high coming through. You've got the CVD waning off, and then quickly the volumes coming in. We can see that at the on the time where the red bars nipping up, and then she's off, typically as NQ will do, and it's going down into liquidity. So all the signs to get aboard for what is a very, very good trade. Again, similar question, sorry to repeat, would be nice to know a little bit about that trade management. Did you enter with a single lot? Where were your stops? Did you look to scale? Yes or no? Scale in, scale out, etc. We've got the profit target, fantastic. But how did you play this trade on the way down? And again, sorry to be the best trader on the left-hand side of the chart, traders, but what were your thoughts about taking the reversal trade? Did you have any thoughts? in terms of your setup checklist, or no, David, I've ticked all the boxes. I've taken 60 handles out, across 2 or 3 contracts. I'm done. I'm one and done, Bruce, so to speak. But as we can see, that reversal is near bloody vertical. If you don't mind me swearing with my French there, it really is. It's picking back up. Over to you, Bruce, please.
Thank you. Well, you got a bunch of different things. So he's got Scotty zones
Yeah.
up here, and just kind of touches the zone, and then he's got. I can't read it really too well, but I know CVD and Scott zones, target 60 pips. Here's your entry. After a retest here,
Yes.
I like it. It's pretty aggressive, but you have your reasons for it. It still kind of works out a bit. This actually looks like a safer kind of area, like you said, in hindsight. But anyway, you really nailed it. And then also too, like I'm with Stan on his comments about Trader Map Pro on NQ. But you do have your high liquidity here as a really nice target, but you held on a bit longer, and boy, I don't think you could do much better
No.
of getting short here and covering here. So fantastic trade.
Yes. Agreed.
So I don't know if
Stan.
do we have the mic open for this is Vincent, yeah. No mic. Okay. Stan?
Yeah, not just he's here. Yeah, but overall, yeah, I like the way that he's highlighting like the liquidity above in the Scott zone. Then we are. I don't know if it's no, it's yeah, it's the zone, or
Yeah.
it is liquidity.
I think it's the zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah,
zone
yeah.
tool.
Yes. So obviously I would maybe yeah, some more relevant short-term liquidity. Yeah, as you said, maybe with Trader Map Pro or else. And for targets, I don't know if I would take like 60 point or take some up front of the big liquidity.
In this area here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Uh, and have maybe yeah, as David said, more to have a context. Like we don't know if the market was going up and you just took like the top of the day, for example. So to have more insight about your trading.
Yeah. He was in here for like a handful of minutes, but boy, nailed it.
Very much. Yeah, no, great trade. Well done.
Yeah.
Great trade. Particularly in the current market, taking a short when everything's going up all the time. So respect.
Any other comments or let's see over. Yeah. Oh, what is Scott's zones? So it's Scott. Scott is looking for. He's using the stops and icebergs indicator from Bookmap. It's part of the MBO bundle, and it's not an alert. It's not a signal. It is an alert to go check the market out. So the way he's using it is, he's looking for some sort of event in the market. And the event that he's looking for is either a big stop run or he's got setups with his stops and icebergs. He's got like 6 or 7 of them. And when that event unfolds, now he's paying attention and he's looking at the market for an opportunity. It's either a big stop run and then what happens after that, or it might be a combination of icebergs and stop runs, etc. Something like that. Right. So yeah, that's that. Let's move on here and see, we went through that one. Let's move on to
Alan, I think.
Alan. Excellent.
And he was in the room. I could see him a little bit earlier on.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want me to click
Oh.
and make the image
I'm
bigger,
not.
or do you want to go over
I'm here.
everything?
You can make it a little bit bigger, please. Yeah,
Okay.
that'd be great. Thanks, Bruce. So another NASDAQ trade. So again, I've got to say, respect for taking the trade here. It is a long, so slightly lower risk. Great chart in here. Thanks, Alan. And it's been a little while since you and I caught up on Skype. So hopefully we can talk again soon.
Yes.
Good, simple commentary box, very clear as to what you're doing. I do like the marking of the liquidity up there in terms of what you're looking to do in terms of targets and so forth. There's some, I call it a simple complex pattern within there, as we saw on some of the other charts, Bruce. So that's good. You've highlighted that and so forth. I think, if I'm right here, Alan, you're up in New York still, aren't you?
I'm in Florida now.
Okay. So this is the London Open, isn't it, in terms of time zone?
No, it was New York. I
Yeah.
always stand the bottom of the time.
Yeah. So
I
again,
don't know. No,
great.
maybe it was the afternoon. No, it doesn't do it.
Yeah, no, you're burning the midnight oil. I think this is the London Open. So that again, my usual line of a context. Nice to sort of know time of day, what it is. Are we going into a close? Are we in a lunchtime period? Are we going through a news event? What is coming out? Because that setting that broad scene of the market does help a cold review or cold lens. But just but a good trade, a good simple trade there. I would probably add my comment again. I mentioned about looking at filtering the bubbles. I don't know if you are filtering bubbles at all, Alan. Do you want to chip in a bit as well, Alan? Because it's good to have someone on.
Are you referring to Trader Map Pro?
Either Trader Map Pro or on here in terms of setting maybe a filter on the volume bubbles. I typically set mine anything between sort of 5 and 10 to play around.
I
as well as reading Trader Map Pro. Yeah.
I used marker pulse for the sound.
Great.
So I don't have a sound in the bubbles because I set my sound for bullish for order flow and bearish order flow on market pulse.
Perfect.
I just always feel like sometimes see charts and everyone puts this complicated, like 100 pictures and this and that, and like sometimes it's like overkill. I try and keep every posting and every trade just like simple, like that red line on the. I don't want to say like rule, but like from observation over the years, liquidity like that is never broken on the first. I don't want to say never, but rarely broken on the first try. Second, usually it takes 3 tries. Eventually, it broke through. So it was 1, 2, 3, 4. It broke through eventually, but I know I can milk it. I know I was able to milk it twice. And of course I always when there's high liquidity, I always front run it.
Smart, no, very smart. It's the front running, and I do see quite a few traders more so on stocks. Exactly to that point, Alan, that they will be.
It's not worth it. Like where's this liquidity? It's at 8,500. So if I get out at 49.80, 498, does it really make a difference? Then if I didn't, you would lose like 15 ticks. It's not it's not worth it.
No, particularly on NQ.
It comes from experience. I watch NQ every single day so you start. It's like each one is like its own kid. Each one has its own personality, each instrument, and so mainly I watch NQ all day. I don't know. I just find that it's more my speed. ES is like a little slower, but the NQ, if you just wait for the right time, you ride the wave, and you get out. It tends to give you throughout the day plenty of reversals. Today there were around. I forgot, today there was all of a sudden someone dumped, I don't know, every single NQ contract in the world. The thing just dropped to the floor in I think less than a second. And then sure enough, the algos that are buying, everybody, nobody, it came in so fast that I'm sure that there are plenty more than usual short sellers in there, and then when that went down, it was so fast, like like half a second, just went down, and then at the bottom, and that gave like fuel for like a fast short squeeze to go back up.
Perfect.
It just sucks if you're on top of the market.
Bookmap is great for showing this. If I get to my sales hat, so if I take your words, I tend to call these in pink. That classic V that we see where you've got the big red bubble in that context you talk to, and then you get that snap back, that 180 move up. Over the years, I have tried to use those as trade signals, but it can be quite dangerous, and I perhaps would like to spend a bit more time on it. But that lovely V that you see on Bookmap is fantastic for those
It's very clean, like
very clean. Yeah.
There,
did you take single contract on this, Alan, or did you scale in, scale out, etc., please? Hard to recall stops.
No, I was using a dome.
Okay.
For that, so I don't know. I think it was 2 NQ contracts.
Okay, nice.
I mean, NQ, like I don't know a lot of people like are allergic to NQ, but like it's like once you do it, eventually you expect to see certain things, and then you see it more often.
Yeah, you do, and help us in terms of how you get into a trade. Are you using just market orders? Are you setting limit orders, stop orders to get in, Alan?
Well, for NQ, I put the bid in the ask button.
Yeah.
Instead of our market. So the bid in the ask, usually since Market Pulse came out, that's been like my go-to thing to like start looking for a trade. Like there's no point of looking at a low volume and watching the market, just whipsaw around just like that. So with the Market Pulse, at least you have some volume, and like I learned that I went to SMB to learn about trading stocks, and so you had the stocks. You had to find a stock of the day that will give you all the volume to trade this. But NQ, whatever it's just there's only so many futures you can choose from. So NQ gives you that. If you just watch it enough times, it'll give you. You can make really good money with it because it.
Yeah.
But you have to have tight stops and. I think it's better because that's follow through. Like you get it, then you go. But like ES is constantly rotating because they use it for so many different things.
They do.
Yeah. Nice trade, Alan. I mean, like, it's just it almost looks. Did we cover this one before? I mean, it looks almost identical.
I think the one last week.
I get told.
I mean, it looks like we've covered this one, but it yet again, it's nonetheless it's a good review. And there's some nice lessons from the front running for sure, and taking a chunk out of the market. But anyway, let's move on. So David, if you have any last comments, else we'll move on to Stan.
No, just another thank you to everyone. So appreciate the guys taking their time. So thank you, Bruce.
All right. And then we'll move on, and Stan has one here from Dune Runner.
Yeah, exactly. You can. Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
So I was wondering if you follow Scott's courses, or you are making setup with his zone.
Yes, yeah, I'm using part of Scott's trading room and using the MBO data with the zone tool.
Yeah, right. So so obviously it will be difficult for me to tell you anything about a setup checklist that he taught you. Obviously, from my point of view, I would say like once we get about your ATR, look for the order flow. So I highlight it in the red rectangle. But yeah, if you follow the courses and just doing what he's saying, I don't have a lot to say actually, but I would. Yeah, I don't know if you can zoom a little bit in, Bruce, in the red rectangle, but maybe when we get the ATR, because I think you just put your limits on it. Maybe wait for more bias conviction to enter, but overall, if you are doing that, I am not sure you get a good risk ratio. So yeah, I don't have a lot to say about it. Actually, I find it very great that you are sharing it and how they are working. But yeah, just looking for maybe more confidence over the liquidity and the order flow on it. But it seems like systematic. You get your ATR, you enter in, and you take your profit at the zone.
Yeah, a lot of Scott's setups typically start with an ATR away and back. So I've been trying to utilize that time to take the smaller trades until we get a longer position trade that's maybe, based off another level they use, like a Ludwig level or the market profile confluence or something like that. But the ATR is just trade is pretty systematic.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's perfect if you're doing with it. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if David, you have anything to say about it, because yeah, due to the fact
Yeah,
that it's
sure.
systematic.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll try and chip in. Apologies if I get over my skis a little bit. So good to see you've put down the time. So you've got Eastern time. So that helps for us boys and girls not in New York zone with Bruce. I know we went to summertime or daylight saving in the States last week. That 11:30, Bruce, could well be the London close time. So that move down, happy to be wrong on the clocks, but I think that 11:30 line is when London was closing. So you've got that, as we used to talk about years ago on the Webbies, Bruce. You got that moves around when Europe shuts down. So you've got that possibly in a trade. If I'm right in thinking on the chart, there was a little bit of a stop run lower down around about 11:30 or 0.2. If you're able to zoom out maybe a little bit, I think there was a little bit of an orange. There we go. Yeah, a little bit of orange going on. If there's a broader lesson here, I think, where you've got that ice selling off, as you will always remind us, Bruce, just because it's not a signal service, it's so there was a move on it, but you didn't really have the conviction. You've then got a stop run kicking in, albeit not a massive one, but you've got a stop one kicking in. You've got the London close in terms of that typical move around when exchanges come and go and so forth. And then, a great entry against that stop run. Plus, as you rightly point out, all of the magic tools that Scott brings to the table. Bruce, catch me, please.
David. So let's see here. A few things come to mind immediately in here. Now I know this is a setup, and I'd like to hear from you, Dune Runner, I'm just going to give what I see in here, and what I do like this a lot, that you have your 1, 2, 3 here. ATR reversion trade. This is it. Now, what's interesting immediately in here is you were waiting for this already. You saw the Scott's zones. You already put your entry down here and waited. And that was that. It's like, this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the Scott's zones. This is the tip off here. Now I'm looking for this ATR to match it. That's where I'll go along and trade it back into the zone up here. And it worked out just beautifully. I mean, it's kind of a scary trade in essence, because like in this view or this time frame, I see a lot of selling. And there is really not, I mean, there's little pockets of buying along the way, but it continued to sell off. But this is exactly the setup of a counter trend mean reversion ATR trade. You nailed it. And you were patient and just waited for it in here. 15-20 minutes or something like that. However, if we break it down a little bit more in terms of some of the structure, you can see a beautiful little inverse head and shoulders pattern here. After it broke, did this kind of little reversal pattern in here, and it actually had a beautiful measured move right back up to where it broke from here in the range. So there's some other nice things on smaller time frames in here as well. That's my feedback, so I'd love to hear what you had to say, Dune.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so basically, when the event happens, I'll kind of look at it, make a judgment of, make sure things are lining up, but I will put the trade in because sometimes it fires off right away and it rockets up and down and the trade's over. Sometimes it, takes 10 or 15 minutes for it to get there. And then, I'll put my stops down at that fat red dotted line. That's where the stop is. And then typically if it hits a stop and then it comes back in, you see the small dotted green line right above the red dotted line. That's the 2 ATR. So then I will typically try and get that on a back door back to the zone if it works out. But yeah, it's pretty just doing the ATRs on a trade to start up, and then I look at we'd look at the algo guy and the market profiles and other things like that Scott talks about on his webinars, and just kind of new to his system, so just trying to follow it.
Yeah. No, beautiful. And also just I like the patience as well. So
The only time I get in trouble is if I have a trade in and then another event happens like right away, and then it kind of throws everything off. So now my brain goes to a panic state, and I try and logic my way out of it, like how I can move things around to still try and take the trade off the new event. So
yeah, makes sense.
But,
I mean, that's where the chaos and panic come in. Exactly. Boy, that's all the feedback I have. I don't know if anyone else.
Yeah, maybe like you could have maybe more confidence. Yeah, on the right above the arrow. Yeah, just a little bit down and right.
Hold on a minute.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Where? Slow down. I mean, Stan.
Yeah, no, right. Yeah, right. Like when we have a micro consolidation just below
Here?
the first ATR. Yeah, so right.
Here?
No, completely at the right.
Over
Right.
here.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, and yeah, we can clearly see like we got UATR, then they make consolidation. We can maybe see like sellers are losing conviction a little bit, even if we have still a strong seller. But overall, you clearly have like big buyers that step back and maybe reintegrate the ATR. That would maybe give more confidence with the order flow. But still, it's a systemic.
Yeah, that's a good point, Stan. I mean, I see this high liquidity in here that it finally hit. There's some in here too that it did hit right below where he got filled, right? Beautiful fill.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, too beautiful.
maybe I mean it traded up to the zone. I don't know if this is still part of the setup. But so you're thinking again of entering long in here, Stan?
On the right, when we clearly like big bubbles like becoming bigger. Yeah, exactly there.
Yeah. I mean, this is the first bar where we see that's pretty big.
Yeah, exactly, and maybe give more confidence with the order flow. But overall, you have your system, and you know better than me how it works. So keep working like this. It's working.
Yeah, really good feedback, I think, Stan, because you've got 1 hit, 2 hit, 3 hit, and then we don't see much buying yet, but now we're starting to see some of that. I mean, all these things are interrelated. I mean, Donkey Face is looking at a similar setup. That is his setup, where he's looking at trend line broke after like 3 hits like this, and then he's trading it to the upside. Crash. Look at we have the sweeps indicator here. This is clearly going to be, you know, if you're using the market pulse in here, you're going to be seeing that as well. So there's a lot of confluences going on in here. And guys, I mean, like what I like about showing all these different indicators and different ways of looking at the market, but we're all kind of revolving around the same things. So look at the sweeps into an area, into high liquidity, into an ATR, stops everybody out. Look for that mean reversion then at that point. You know, like it may roll over and do another big move to the downside. Well, then, you know, you got to be, you know, vigilant and take your stop loss. This is a little bit like catching a falling knife. But NASDAQ especially, I mean, you'll get this move, and usually you'll get this move immediately. Different ways of looking at the market, and everyone's got a different style here.
Yeah, exactly.
Dune Runner, any last comments on this?
No, appreciate all the feedback, and yeah, just been trying to post some content every day, you know, show some winners, show some losers, and and just keep getting better at doing stuff. A lot of stuff, it's hard to put everything on there to get a good picture, because you're looking at all this different stuff and trying to get it all onto one post. I'm still struggling with just the actual posting of the information and have it make sense and not write a whole chapter. So just trying to do concise. That's why I kind of use the 1, 2, 3, you know, and just bullet points, and I may, you know, at some point go to where I can explain it more so. But
right.
Yeah, it's just trying to get everything into one post is sometimes difficult.
Yeah, that's great though. I mean, like that's what we're, you know, here for in these meetings, is to you know, cover the and get you on the mic, so that we can hear what you have to say about it.
Yeah, perfect. I appreciate it.
Sure. All right, let's see. I think that is everybody. I actually had a few in here to go through, and since we have a few extra minutes, wanted to cover Caesar and Crash. So hold on a minute. This is incorrect. Hold on. Okay, and Caesar, I think you're in here, right? Saw you. Yes. Okay. I think you've been invited to speak. There you go. All right. So it was hard to get this image in here. I think it was. I had to take a screenshot because it's pretty high res. But anyway, you know, you're looking at. I know you're looking at your floor trader pivots, and you know, you got S6 down here. So and you got some moving averages in here as well, on your higher time frames, and then beautiful in here, very bullish or bearish, with large orders, you know, getting filled on the way down. So maybe walk us through a little bit more what you saw in here, what you're looking at, and you know, the trade opportunity. Got the mic on for you? Looks like you cannot.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Sorry, I had to push the talk setting. Okay, yeah, so one of the things that most gets me excited to take a trade in the morning is if we open in a breakdown range, which below S5, anything below S3 would be a breakdown range, but S5s are the ones that I find work the best for me. So we opened slightly above it and then sold off instantly. Took out the first large liquidity below on Bookmap and saw a small bounce, but when there was no buying in there, right? That first little bounce,
this one here.
exactly,
Okay.
exactly, yeah. And Bookmap stayed bearish, and so I felt comfortable putting my risk there, above S5, and just targeted S6, which, and since it's the extreme of the traditional cam pivots, that's one that I respect very much. Sometimes we have big faders from there, but there wasn't that much weakness in the market for me to expect it to go down further. There was another opportunity after I got out of the trade where you see it popped right off of S6 back to S5 and then back down to S6. Yeah, right there, exactly.
Yeah,
But I didn't take that.
this thing is volatile here. So these are some big moves.
Yeah, that's why I like ARM, because it's a cheap stock share wise per one share, but the ranges are very nice, and it's not as crazy as like a coin, in my opinion, that super wide spreads, and it can move $5 up, $5 down before it decides which way it wants to go.
Yeah. No, it's I mean, it's only a few bucks in here, but I mean, S5 to S6, I mean, that's huge. And that was you're looking for that in your setup.
Yeah,
You're below S3. You know that this has got momentum to the downside. It's opening up. It hits high liquidity. This is also really nice to cover that hits high liquidity, but it's nothing to hold it. Like even at these lower levels in here. So then you're getting involved, and then you're holding it down to S6.
Yeah, the first thing I look for after we get, like, as soon as the market opens, I just want to see which way Bookmap lights up, right? Below price or above price. And I mean, it is so cool to see when only one side lights up and it works. And then when, like, so example, if it lights up for a breakdown in a breakdown range, the trade is so likely to work. And if it doesn't, if I start seeing orders to the top side but nothing to the downside, then I'm not going to take that trade, and the success rate is so much lower. So just trading with candles to now with this is really cool.
Yeah. I mean, it was interesting. I think in the webinar yesterday, I don't know if you saw it with Carmine Rosado, and he was saying like, yeah, I use candles. I like them. They just give me kind of overall price levels and context. That's about it. He's looking at order flow tools
Yeah.
all the time, most of the time, so that he understands what's happening at those levels. I mean, you can't say it much clearer. Like he was very articulate with that. It's all in the order flow. It's not in the candles. Candles is just the price movement. So yeah, good stuff. I mean, that's all I had, but I really like the conviction here in your setup in the morning. Is really nice.
Thanks, Ruth. There was a long in there too, right off the S6 bounce that I was upset I didn't take. Right where
Here
on
or here.
that first one. If you look on Bookmap, you can see how it just a clear shift from red to green on the delta dots, and there was that nice liquidity that came into support, right? So I'm gonna try and be on top of those, because it's crazy when you see that all red dots switch to green dots at an important level like that, and the liquidity come in for a bounce. But obviously it's hard to switch your mind from short to long, literally in 5-10 second span.
Yeah, exactly. We cover like a lot of these little nuances, I mean, for a long time, but it, it was nice to see also Carmine talking about these exact same things. Like, here, buyers in the book. right? Trades into, still goes through it, but look at the selling down here. And then there's a little double bottom in there. And there's selling on this one, comes back. There's very little selling on this one. And then it trades back up and into what was support here. It's now resistance, but buyers take it on. You just can't make this kind of stuff up. Like, this is the critical zone. It comes back up, almost tests to here. Like, just beautiful stuff. Comes back, retests to here. So any trapped traders, they're down here. We're starting to find some buyers, like you said. And not too many to be honest, but it is starting to kind of switch and flip. It's a tough one to switch your mind like that, though. I agree with you on that. Okay, I got one other. Unless you have something more.
No,
Caesar?
that's all. Thanks so much, Bruce.
Okay, all right. Thank you. And then Crash, we got you. So let's see here. This was just the other day. You're talking about the ES and these icebergs, and then comparing to the NQ here. I'll just let you, again, kind of jump in here and walk us through some of your decision making. I think you're muted, Crash. Okay. Should have the mic. Yeah, you do have the mic, but I do see that you are muted. Maybe in the
Sorry,
there
I
you
had
are. There you are.
that one on mute there. Yeah, thanks, Bruce and Bookmap team. Appreciate you putting this on and all the traders here. I'll try to be as concise as possible due to the time. But this was yesterday. The context is obviously very bullish market, right? So I was trying to highlight how I look at surfer icebergs in different contextual situations. So in this case, at the same time, the ES has double layer of surfer icebergs below us, and the NQ has double layer of icebergs above it. So you have to ask yourself the question, what is this telling you? As far as, usually, I like to say that all icebergs get retested at some point in time. So which one's going to get tested first? So in the context of yesterday's market, with it being such a bullish overall day with the FOMC, you can see on the ES that one of the larger of the two surfers ended up getting pulled. So you see that bottom line down there. They pulled those orders, all right, and it just left that resting 3. So to me, the context of this is which one's going to get tested first, with the strength of the FOMC and then pulling the icebergs below the ES. That to me said that we were going to go up to test the icebergs above on the NQ and the liquidity zones above that. So that's the basic point that I was trying to make off of these two graphs.
Nice. Interesting context. Like, yeah, the opposite in here, these guys working it. I mean, look at them work it in here. And chase, get filled, working it again, getting filled, and then they, I'm not really sure exactly what happened. We have a massive iceberg here, well, 662, and then this 3 here. So I don't know if this is the guy. I mean, this looks like it was just canceled here. Yeah,
I think if I remember, I might have taken another screenshot. I think there was another order there that actually showed that larger 662, and that is the one that got filled, and then the 3 didn't, and they pulled that other one there. So I think if I remember right, that's what happened, but I took a lot of trades yesterday, so I'm not completely 100% confident on that. But
yeah.
The point to me is seeing the pulling of the order, right? Now you only got 3 below, and you got more on the NQ above in the context with liquidity above that and a very bullish market. So, it's not something to necessarily take a pure trade off of. It's just trying to tie different things that we see in Bookmap order flow to add to your confluence of factors to make a decision on a trade. So again, this was after market. So most people don't trade after the RTH, the specific standard time. David. So this is for me in the West Coast. So the market closed, at the top of the hour, but
Yeah.
the market still likes to make moves in that next hour after the market closes, and it goes very slow at times. But if you have the patience to stick around for it on the NQ, for us NQ traders, you can sometimes get 30 to 50 points in a closing trade when the market closes. And it's kind of very similar to the pre-RTH trading, is where you see the liquidity zones in the hour before the RTH open and the liquidity zones that you see on the NQ after the market closes. It generally tends to go as a magnet towards those liquidity zones. So that's how I apply what I see here.
Yeah, excellent. David, over to
Yeah,
you.
no, great trade. Well played. And I'll echo exactly what you said, particularly on yesterday on FMOC. I was in ES at the time when we got to the bell on RTH, and in the chat in Spot Gamma, I left those running pretty much. I'll say what you were saying in terms of this will cook forward, and I often use the word of CRA after that film of Crazy Rich Asians. This will run up. This will run up, so no need to close it at the end of the day. Let it go, and it did. And I think on ES we must have had. By the time I got out of bed this morning, we were sort of like 30 points higher, as you say, and it just grinds away upwards. So yeah, very, very good. The other thing here, and it's back to what Alan talked about, you can see you've got the liquidity there at the 5300 level, and the same the bloods, as I will call them, on NASDAQ. It can be quite intimidating if you're not in a trade. So I was in a trade. I took stop entries from the rate change, and I showed the guys in Spot Gamma what I was going to do, and we got in and we rode it all the way up, and it was a 60 handle plus move from that entry. So I can just lean back in my chair and just sip my beer, and I don't really care if it goes up, it doesn't come down. I've had a good day. Getting in this late when the market has already moved 40, 50 points is a bold ask for all of us. And it's like what Alan was talking about, where do you put your exits, and how are you going to get just washed away? Has the market started to fade? But as you talked about, Bruce, that lovely confluence that you've got there, Crash, on the left hand side on the ES chart, that just relentless ice coming in, supporting the move up, the fact that you've got that psychological, maybe not the best word, of the 5300 above as a sort of as a soft target, as a go-to. You're knowing if you are getting in there on that NASDAQ that you likely are going to get swept upwards. I'm rambling here, Bruce. Catch me again.
Yeah. And just one more point of confluence, my favorite thing on Bookmap, obviously, Market Pulse VPI with a cojoined CVD. So you actually can see that right at the closing moment of the market on the NQ. So that's just, I didn't actually mark it on there because this is not what I was trying to highlight. I was trying to highlight basically the surfers alone on this particular chart, but that's just another point of confluence. And another thing just for people to note, that when you're trading, most of you guys have heard me talk about it before, but 10 minutes before the market close, right, you get the mock market on close numbers that come out. And in general, the Wall Street professionals, right, they like to fade the retail. So if the mock comes out, let's say, 2 billion to sell, right, retail is going to look at that number and they're going to try to sell as a last minute trade, 10 minutes before the market closes. And what they do is Wall Street lets it go down for a tad bit. And then what they do is they end up fading the mock number. So there's some different rules. It's not always exactly like that. It's a generalization. But in that generalization, you could see that that's what happened yesterday. And we ended up getting that Market Pulse DPI spike up. And then we go towards the iceberg surfers and the liquidity zone. And obviously all night long kept tanking up.
It did.
Beauty.
Yeah, those closing trades. You may recall, Bruce, pre-Tom doing all the stuff, him and I used to trade the close on Skype or whatever platform we were using back then. Exactly doing those things, as you say, Crash, in terms of sucker punches where it's dragging off. Is it one step or top step used to be the sponsor of that number coming out at sort of, 15, 40, 15, 45, as you say. Yeah. a great 30 minutes of trading for sure, or can be. Yeah.
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 That's all I got. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah. Excellent. Thank you, Crash.
Thank you. Yeah.
And Stan, I don't know. Do you have any comments as well here on any of these two images?
No.
No.
What they are doing.
Okay. You were it was kind of choppy and hard to hear you, Crash. Stan.
Yeah. Can you hear me
Yes. Now. Yeah. Yep. And now we don't hear you.
Too much sound compression, Bruce. It's
Right.
the rock band.
Right.
Or is that Dan?
All right, guys. Well, let's. I mean, that's what we got. I want to I want to challenge you guys on this crypto competition here, because take a look at yeah, right in here, for example. I mean, like boy, I got more. Hold on. Thought I had more data in here. Oh, come on. Really? Don't. Okay. Well, yeah, here's the let me try to get a little more data in here. I know that I've got it. So just take a second. Close maybe things. This is, I mean, I think this is all free. You guys will get good feedback on your content, and it's a competition or there's prizes. So it's a win-win, I think, in that regard. This is a tricky thing to trade. There are a lot of games going on in here, and the order flow shows it. It's I mean, people are just getting like annihilated on either side of ranges, and then it comes back into the range. And here's no different in this example here. Now, if I can zoom out a bit. Okay, hold on a minute here. It's getting there. Yeah, so here's the close, and I actually saw this moving down in a channel. Oh boy, I might have to let me see if I can add in here. I just might have to exit this one. Subscribe. Let's try that. And we'll try $20 per tick. Okay. All right. So, like it's just this is a wicked beast in here. So here's the move down. Now it sold off hard earlier, and let me add a little bit more data in here. And on the way down, though, like it's trading into high liquidity on the way down. It is getting filled, and then there was this kind of back and forth in here. And hold on a minute, it will just load. And just what I'm trying to get at here is, as soon as I get some data in here, that I think if you can get good at this and some of the skills that you can utilize trading Bitcoin, you'll jump over to the ES or the NQ, and it'll be easy. I'm not kidding you. So I would keep a tab open, join the competition, trade your daily ES NQ, but take some positions also in Bitcoin, and hone some of your strategies. Like for example here, I'm coming out with a reversal strategy, and I've got one video done. The other one I'm just working on. So the reversal strategy, it's doing it right here. Okay, this is that flow and change that we talked about before, this transition. And in Bitcoin, God, I can't believe this is taking so long to load. Anyway, this flow and transition, like it sold off hard, and then it was trading into a higher level, a higher time frame level. I had my level. It traded into it. It traded a little bit through it, and then I got in. I think I got in actually over here on the right shoulder or so. Yeah, something like this, left shoulder. I had my reasons for it. It was kind of there was high liquidity down in here, and then I had one bounce, a little bounce in here. I was looking for another little bounce in here. I finally started to see this bounce, and then it's like, okay, all of that selling. Now I'm looking for those buyers to come in and trade it back up. And then break out, and then I've got my measured move in here as well. So I've got my zone in here. I'm looking for it to come back up into about here where it broke from. I had my reasons for it. I had my target, and it did a smaller little measured move in here. There we go. Okay, so into high liquidity, and really sold off hard into high liquidity down in here. And then it started to bounce, and it's like, okay, I think, I'm starting to see the buyers starting to come in. It sold off some more, and then this is where, or even in here or here, this is where we're looking for this to be a inverse head and shoulders pattern. Okay, this is what happened though, and this is how tricky this instrument is. But if you start to recognize and play along with some of these players, you can make a lot of money. So for example, this is the pattern. Here's your shoulder, head, shoulder, buyers coming in, breaking the trend line. The trend line's even starting to get more shallow. You've got a measured move back up into here, but the bigger measured move is this one up to here. Okay, now what happens? I'm looking for it here. In fact, I closed it just before the meeting here, and it was just about break even or so. I was looking for it here to see that move to the upside. Should have gotten it. What happened? They close, at the close here of the, at least for the S&P or the stock indexes here, the market sold off really hard into the close. Then the buyers come in, and then we get the move, and it almost does the measured move in here. So it's just people are getting annihilated in here. You might be, oh, okay, I'm going to get in here, and then look out. So this is going to really help with your risk management. Get really good at it. It should work. If it doesn't, it's telling you something else. Get out. Else, this is what's going to happen. And it does it time and again. And you'll see massive liquidations down in here, massive liquidations up in here. So start to understand maybe some of the game playing in this instrument in here in the competition is going to help you. That's my main point. So, all right. So let me show you that competition page if you're interested. It's for the Bookmap Academy, but anyone can join the Academy, but you will have to be an Academy member. It's no big deal to join. Just click apply here. But you can register here right now, and you can enter into the competition immediately and start trading. Okay, so here are the prizes, and then here are the rules. Leaderboard as we get more people in here, etc. So the Q&A, and I showed you earlier how to get connected. Right. So yeah, I encourage you guys to jump in, and we're going to cover a lot. We're going to have a lot of extra events for this. So we'll go over your content along the way. It'll be kind of like a Bookmap Academy meeting every day. Okay, so start creating some content and trades, and we'll go over them. All right. All right. Thanks, everybody. And thanks to the coaches. Thank you, David. Thank you, Stan.
Thank you all.
Yeah, excellent. Great to. This is the first time we've now had some direct coaching from you, David. So thank you very much.
Welcome. Nice. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, and thank you all, Crash, Alan, Vincent, and God, who else was in? Caesar. Thank you guys. We'll see you. Well, I'll be pinging you in the room here. So we'll go over. We'll have another event here very soon, tomorrow. Okay. I'll go over it also in the all markets webinar. Yep. Have a good evening, guys. Take care.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Good
Cheers.
evening.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.